Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to downtown Coolsville. It's officially October. Well, we're recording this in September, but when you're hearing this, it'll be October. And in case you didn't notice, we have a new little intro song. I think it's pretty good. I spent a solid 10 minutes on it. Daniel, what do you think?
I was pretty impressed.
All right?
I didn't
That was
think
crazy.
he made it at first.
No, I took music class, so what can I say? You know, I was thinking we should talk a
Jacob, we
little
were
bit
in the
about our
same
music.
music class.
Okay, Daniel, I was just about to get into that. I was thinking we should talk a little bit about our music escapades, if you will, sometime. Maybe tonight, even. I feel like we've got
Yeah.
some interesting stories. Anyways, welcome to the
Sixth.
6th episode, or 7th, depending on when we put this one out. We've
sure.
got a special episode coming up, but we are yet to schedule some things. So this could either be our 6th or 7th episode that we're recording right now, depending on how that one goes and when it's released. Regardless, welcome back to downtown Coolsville, population U. What do you think of that, Daniel? I thought that's a good little. No, you don't like it?
Nope.
I think we need to get a slogan. You know, we need to find something that works. We'll workshop it. We'll think about that one later on. Tonight we've got some interesting things to discuss, or at least I do. I've got some college things to discuss. Daniel, I'm sure you'll have something once I start talking about my somethings.
Oh yeah. I probably won't.
I'll just get right into it. So today, I went a little bit out of my comfort zone. All throughout high school, freshman year at least, I was in a couple of clubs and organizations. But after that, sophomore year and up, the only time I was involved in any club or organization or group, outside of band at least, was if my friends were doing it and they wanted me to join them, I would go to like one meeting or something. And if like my friends were running,
you joined a fraternity.
No, oh my God, no,
Oh.
I would never. Damn, I got a Lone Star. I don't think they have that kind of stuff.
I mean, it might not be like.
I would
approved,
never.
but-
I don't know. I could never see myself in something like that. But no, I mean, I joined a couple clubs, and I also just attended. So today they hosted a club/organization event. I'm not sure what to describe it as. It was on Zoom or whatever, and they had a bunch of different rooms with like club sponsors and club presidents and stuff, and you could go in and out of rooms and talk about the club with them. And generally, I don't like clubs or being in organizations just because I do bad enough with my regular workload, and feeling responsible for staying connected with a group or having other things on my plate sort of gets me stressed sometimes. But I figured it's college. I need to sort of branch out. So I talked to a bunch of different clubs like Econ or Eco, not Econ, Eco Club. So they talk about all that eco-friendly stuff. I talked to the student, like activist type people, the student leadership people, drama club, and I've got a lot to say about that. And then like this Japanese culture club and anime. I actually was interested in that slightly because I started reading manga and watching anime. I mean, I don't watch it very consistently. I've only seen 2, and that's Death Note and Naruto. But they are pretty interesting, so I figured I'd stop in and see what their club was about. And they're actually a fun bunch of people. They said that it's officially a club, but really they like it as just a friend group. They hang out a lot in the commons. They play Switch. They play games. And then they do this, they watch like anime movies and shows together and stuff. So that seems like lots of fun. Like it's really just a group of people to hang out with and watch movies, TV, and play some games. So after that one, there was like 10 minutes left. So I was like, let me drop into Drama Club because I didn't see anyone go in there. So, let me check it out, listen to the person. And I went in and it was the sponsor of the club. And I think she was also the director of the theater department. And we started talking. And she actually was interested in our podcast. we were talking about that because we talked about my setup because, well, she told me that I had a nice voice and I should audition for a role sometime. And I said no. I haven't done theater since middle school. I'm more on the tech side of things, is what I was telling her. I volunteered for set, and I've tried to stay involved with theater. I've got a lot of theater friends. And I talked to her about how for band, I always did the audio and managed the sound system and whatnot. And she said that they needed a sound designer and a sound technician, and that she was also interested in starting a podcast for the theater department, and that she wanted to like pick my mind on that sort of stuff, and told me that I should come audition to fill out the paperwork to be the technician and sound designer and stuff. And that felt pretty good because for once in my life, I had a skill that I learned because I was interested in it that actually came into effect.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, like this is the first time that something has opened a position of sorts for me.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And then from there, I could even probably do other things.
Yeah, that's actually, wow.
Yeah. And she said my voice was nice, so. And my audio quality is incredible, she said. She said it's better than Daniel's, actually. She said that. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then after that, I rewarded myself with a quick stop at the comic book store.
Oh my God.
I've been reading.
You go there anyway.
Yeah. I told myself, I actually didn't reward myself with a stop. My plan was this: go to these meetings, get out of my comfort zone, then go to Spirit Halloween and apply for a job. And for asking for an application, I was going to reward myself with the comic book store. Mm-hmm. I did not ask for an application. I still went to the comic book store. The reason is I went into Spirit Halloween, and a big animatronic spider thing jumped out at me, and I didn't jump physically, but in my head I was like, I can't do this. And so I walked around the store to make it seem like I was looking for something. Yeah. And I was looking at all the decor and like the stuff that people can buy. Mm-hmm. And it made me uncomfortable. Like I was like, I can't work with these things. Like I know it's just props, but for some reason it gave me like chills down my spine. So then I just left, and it was next door to the comic book store. So I just went over, and it's weird because all day it's like I was being presented with these situations that were a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like I didn't even know about the club meeting thing until I checked an email. Like I decided, let me go through all my emails and just read them all. And it was sent a while ago, and it was like, oh, it's today at 2. And I was like, oh, wow, it's 1:45. But I went to the comic book store, and I bought Maestro, which is a Hulk comic. If you don't know, it's about the Hulk in the future. He's old. It's old Hulk, and he goes by the name Maestro. Anyways, while I was checking out, I got some Magic cards, Magic the Gathering. Oh, and the guy was like, "Oh, do you play?" Tricks. Oh no, I do know magic tricks though. I've got a deck of cards right here. Here, Daniel, pick a card, any card. Go ahead. No, for real, grab one. All right. Okay, you got it. Mm-hmm. All right, memorize that card. All right. Okay. Here, put it back in the deck. Don't let me see it though. Okay. All right, now tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. Now I want you to watch. I'm gonna look away. Okay, I'm gonna do one final shuffle while looking away. Okay. Mm-hmm. You saw that? Mm-hmm. All right, nothing fishy, okay? Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna hold the deck up, and I'm just gonna riff through it, and I want you to just have your card in mind, and when you see your card, don't say anything, but just look for the card and have an idea of where it is in the deck. Okay, you ready? All right. All right, one more time. Is that good, or you want another one?
I think I got it.
Okay, you got it? Mm-hmm. Now watch this. I want you to put your hand on top of the deck. Okay. Okay. Now just slide that top card off. Mm-hmm. Flip it over. Mm-hmm. Is that your card?
No.
I know, because the second card is your card. Is that your card?
No.
What? Dude, the voice crack. You know, that's part of the trick, because your card is here on the bottom. Is that your card?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here all night. But no, like I was saying, the guy was like, "Oh, do you play a lot of Magic?" No, no, but I buy cards. And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, blah 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 blah. We have Magic games here, like pretty hefty crowd Fridays and Saturdays. But you have to wear a mask and bring hand sanitizer and all this stuff, right?" I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Do you guys do any other like tabletop games or just card games right now?" And he's like, "No, we're open for everything pretty much, but we try to keep it not too crowded or anything. Since tabletop is more contact, there's you're a little closer." I was like, "Okay." And he says today or later tonight, we're actually one of our employees teaches the basics of Warhammer. And I was like, "Oh, I've seen people play that at the other comic book store." That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say that. Yeah, I see the other comic book store. Everyone's always playing there. And I was like, "Oh, I'll probably stop by." So I decided to go, and I was the only one in the store, and the guy taught me how to play. It was an interesting game. But yeah, one-on-one interactions with strangers, not my forte. I was starting to sweat a little. I was also starting to sweat because there was so much information. Right. And he's like, "All right, your turn." and I was like, "Okay, so I rolled the 1 die." He goes, "No, you're supposed to roll 6." And I was like, "Okay, well, whatever." It was not really, but I was like, "So do I move or do I don't know." And there's like character sheets, and it has like all this information that you have to know. Oh, man. It was confusing, but like I got the gist of it. But yeah, I pretty much just told you about my day. That's all I did right now. Was just tell you guys about my day. Interesting day. How was your day, Daniel?
It's been roughly the same for the past week.
I thought you were about to say the same as mine, and I was gonna say that's so weird. What a coincidence! You also learned Warhammer.
No.
Do you want to?
No, I am good. Let's see. I woke up. I actually woke up at a good time today. Because I had to go. Klein is doing these like food, not like drives, but so essentially Klein got these like I guess like grants or something from the government, and so they have all this food that they were able to buy and they give out to whoever, as long as you're enrolled or. You can show like this email that you get from Klein that shows that your kid is enrolled, or if you show them like a copy of a birth certificate of one of your children. And so I've been doing that every week. And this one I went to the one that was at like 7 a.m. I'm surprised I woke up for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my mom woke me up. That's why I woke up.
Oh, I'm just gonna jump in real quick. I had class this morning at like 10 or 11. So I set my alarm for like 8:30. I just like barely remember hearing the alarm, getting up and unplugging it and going back to sleep. I usually get up and walk over and and turn it off, snooze it to like wake me up. But I remember like being half asleep, sitting up and just grabbing the cord, yanking it out of the wall and laying back down.
Yeah.
And somehow I still woke up on time for class. Like it was weird.
Oh, that's impressive. I would oversleep. Yeah, I'm not a morning person at all. It's funny. I would say
I have to get up at 4:30.
Oh my god.
It's 2:54.
Jesus.
Anyways, continue. Sorry.
I can't say that I really value sleep. It's more like because it's 3 a.m. and I'm up. But when I'm asleep, I want to stay asleep for as long as possible. Like if I'm tired, I want to sleep. And if you impede in that, I'm gonna be a little upset. And not like on purpose. It's really only like if I'm falling asleep, or I am asleep and you wake me up and well, I can't really say that. It's really just in the mornings. It's like early in the morning.
A morning person.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person at all. So there are I can't tell you how many times where I've crossed the line of like, you know what, I'm just gonna hit snooze a few times and then I'll wake up and eventually I wake up and then just turning off and my alarms. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, unplugging it, whatever, and just going to sleep and not caring about the consequences.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. Today I woke up and it was actually really nice today. Because I went out at like 7:50 or something, and it was cold. It was actually cold this morning, and it was amazing,
I
and I
know. I
loved
went to
it.
class and I wore jeans and a little, not pullover, but like a,
Mm,
not a jacket. It was a very light jacket, if
yeah,
anything. And I felt good. I felt fine.
yeah. I mean, I always wear hot clothes either way.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, yeah, I drove with my windows down. It was great. Like
I always
I was
drive with the windows
shivering a
down.
little. Huh?
I always drive with windows down. I don't know why.
Oh,
In my old
I
car,
don't
the
like
AC
to.
was kind of crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like habit.
No, I can't. I like the cold, so I always have the AC on. Unless it's like a nice day, like this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, then I got back home and I ate breakfast. I picked up breakfast actually. Um,
I've
and
got to jump
then
in one more time here.
mm-hmm.
The AC thing, you could turn on the AC while you drive. And
Yeah.
the other day, not the other day, like weeks ago, we were in your truck
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, turn on the AC, and I rolled the window down, and you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I have the AC on if you've got the window down?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that. Why does it matter? There's no AC bill for your car. Like, it doesn't matter
It's
if you're
gas
letting out
though.
the. No, it's
It's
not that big a
gas.
deal.
You're
It's not
letting out
like
the cold air. We don't pay for the AC bill for the whole
it
neighborhood,
doesn't.
Jacob.
But it's like,
It's just a gas thing for me because my
but the
truck is a
gas is
gas guzzler.
negligible at that point. Like
It's
AC
not.
just barely on with the window cracked. Like, I'm sorry, I want my foot out the window, Daniel. It was
You do that,
comfortable.
I'm kicking out. I'm kicking you out of my truck.
Well, I was doing it and you didn't kick me out. So,
You were?
yes, that's why the window was down.
When?
I was laying down in the back with my foot out the
Oh,
window.
I didn't know that. I would have kicked you
Dude, I
out.
was like half asleep. I was laying down
I
and
had no
everything.
idea. I didn't know. Oh yeah,
I was like double
that's when you
buckled.
were in the back.
I had
That's right.
I had my legs buckled and then my top half buckled.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
you lying down though.
I was waiting for you.
I didn't stop.
Anyways,
Um, yeah, I remember that. No, I don't know. It's just a thing because it's like I always have the AC on like blast in terms of temperature. I always have it like freezing cold.
me too. And
Um,
people get on me for that. I'm
oh,
sorry.
I
I like
love
it
it.
cold.
I like it really cold,
I put it all the way
especially in the
down.
heat. Like it's Texas, it's hot. And I don't have like leather seats, but they're not like
Yeah.
they're practically leather. And so they get hot. They get really hot. Whenever they've been in the sun, and I always forget to put up that sun visor thing.
Me
To the
too.
windshield.
I have one. It's Wonder
it's all-
Woman because it was my mom's. I don't care though. I still rep the Wonder Woman niche, bro. Amazonian for life.
Nice.
But I never put it up. It just sits in the passenger seat, like
Between
a
the console.
passenger. No, just on the
Oh.
seat. It just sits
Oh.
there, and I just look at it before I get out of the car, and then I just get out.
Not today.
Yeah,
You don't tuck it in, God, you psychopath.
and I need it too because when I get out for a long time, when I get back in, the stick
Yeah.
is so hot. Like when I have to shift, I'm like burning my hand. One time, I literally had to keep my hand on the stick because I was in like some weird stop and go, and it was
Mhm.
like when I got home, the center of my palm was like peeling because it was burnt.
Oh my God.
It was horrible.
You gotta buy a little tarp.
Yeah, just to put it over every time I get out of the car. There you go, little guy. Oh, I gotta adjust. My back's starting to hurt.
What was
Oh,
it?
that was an easy
Oh,
adjustment. I love this mic stand. Anyways,
yeah.
continue.
I'm thinking of selling my current microphone.
Why? You told me about
Buying
this.
a new one.
You can turn it sideways, Daniel.
Oh, it's I don't
I
know.
just punched my microphone.
It's also just like I don't know. I just
You're just not feeling it?
yeah. I
I'm
mean, I
adjusting
like
my
it.
mic like
I
crazy
really
right
like
now.
it.
Sorry if you can hear a bunch of crap.
But it's just like I watch this guy that has this certain mic,
Mm-hmm.
and I like how it sounds.
What's
That's
the
actually
mic?
one of the one that it's a Rode
Podcaster.
Yeah, it's the
You and the
podcaster.
podcaster, man. You've been ever since we first started. It's the one you've been hooked on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Is it the wait? Is it the podcast? It's not the mini
If
one.
you
It's
love
the.
it, Daniel, let it
Mm-hmm.
go.
Let me see.
Oh, in the last like 15 minutes of the podcast today, do you want to talk about our October plans for the podcast?
Sure. Yes, it's just the podcaster.
Yeah, I thought
I
so.
really want it.
Yeah.
I really want it.
You've always wanted that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I might
surprised
get
you
it.
didn't get it, honestly. I thought you were going to.
Yeah. Because they didn't have it at Guitar
Oh,
Center.
right. Well, they ordered online anyways.
Yeah. I just I don't know. They
I
only
don't know
had
if we've
it's
talked about this before, but we went to Guitar Center, and I'm pretty sure Daniel wanted to go home and order it.
yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you can order it online." Blah blah blah. Daniel goes, "Okay," and he goes, "Okay, we'll bring you up over here and or get it on the internet and stuff." And Daniel just went, okay," and he just bought this mic.
It's because I'm a pushover.
I know that was
That's why.
hilarious. I was literally like,
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, I don't think Daniel was intending to buy that.
No, I wasn't. It was like, okay, I mean, I like picked it out. I was definitely gonna buy like this microphone online, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I had actually gone home and like done the orders online, I probably would have bought a separate micro, like
Yeah.
a different one. I would have looked and been like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, I like my
Um,
mic. When I listen to the audio, it's a little quiet, but then I just
mhm.
boost it a little and post, and it sounds perfectly fine.
I mean, I like it. It's great, especially for the like how much I paid
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
you come in so clear
Um,
too. Like your quality is insane.
I can't complain about it. It's like in terms of usage
It's
and
just
everything,
that
it's
gut
great.
feeling.
It's just I want that microphone
Yeah.
so bad, and it just because this one you talk in from the side,
Mm-hmm.
the podcaster you talk in from the top,
I
and I
want
think
that
that'll
Sure 370 or whatever, like the one that
that like
all the
$400 one.
podcasters use. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
such a
I mean
nice
that'd be
mic, and it's
great.
beautiful too. Like it looks so good. It's so
Yeah,
compact,
yeah.
and it's got a built-on pop filter, I think.
Yep.
Man.
Uh, yeah. I need a shock mount and a pop filter,
Mm.
but I'm thinking of getting a job
Me too. You
soon.
should work at Spirit.
No.
All right. You know, we
I'm
always have
thinking,
those little moments of silence.
yeah. I think, because Target, they
No,
hire
don't be like
during the winter for like 13 an hour,
mhm.
and I think I might do that.
What was that guy who got famous just for wearing the
Alex.
Alex from Target?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about like my future career, kind of like what I want to do. Because right now I'm on the path of becoming a CPA certified accountant.
Hmm.
Which in terms of like money and everything, I'll be set. Like it's a really good paying career. It'll get me where I want. Because I have really expensive taste, and I just spend money on myself whenever I have it. And I feel like I'm gonna need a career to support that. And yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll set me. I mean, it's gonna be great.
You can
But
also fund the podcast.
well, anyway,
Wow, okay.
um, but the other thing is the actual work. It's like it'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be like a 9 to 5, sitting down. I don't know if I can
It's
sit
boring.
down and do that work constantly for like the rest of my life, pretty much. I don't know that I can do that. It's like the
Yeah.
money, it'll be worth it. Like I'm gonna, but
Yeah.
can I get through that? And so I've been thinking that's why, I mean, that's part of the reason why I've invested in audio equipment for the podcast, which in turn has also helped with the streaming equipment and like
Mm-hmm.
recording equipment that I've invested in. But it's kind of scary because like as much as I would love to have a career in something like streaming or like YouTube or something like that, one, it's completely hit or miss. Like there's
Yeah, I forgot who I was
Such.
listening to, but they said if you're like going into YouTube or any form of like internet entertainment, you pretty much just go into it looking
Mhm.
for fun because if you get picked up by whatever system's algorithm, that's it. But if you
Mhm.
don't, like if it just chooses not to, then you're done.
Right. And I mean, like streaming, I'm having a great. I'm fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun. Because it's mostly just me playing with my friends. So it's really just me playing video games while streaming it, while like one or two people watch. Which is fun. Um, but I was actually thinking about it today. Like, if the chances of either streaming or because I'm doing like a YouTube channel that's in the works. I'm like really thinking about it and trying to figure out how I'm gonna go around it. Um, the chances of either one being picked up are so small, and not only that, but it, it it like flourishing and the lifespan of it are just I don't like the lifespan is small because I mean
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the only YouTuber that I know that's like up there in age and has been doing this for a while is PewDiePie, and I don't even
Yeah,
watch him.
and he's top. He's
Yeah,
number.
and he's like king.
Yeah.
As much as I mean, I don't watch him or anything,
Mm-hmm.
and I just everyone knows who he is. He's just the king of YouTube, and he has been for a long
He
time.
pops up in mainstream media. Like he's not.
Right.
People who
He's not
don't
a
use
YouTuber.
YouTube
He's
know
yeah,
PewDiePie.
yeah, exactly. Um, and other than that, I mean, like I was thinking about like I think this whole thing stemmed from I was watching this. Do you know who Jeff Wittick is? He's like from David Dobrik's kind of whole
I don't know.
vlog
I don't
squad
watch any
thing.
of those
Okay.
people.
Yeah, so he has like his own little thing where he does like haircuts for these people, and it's kind of like an interview kind of thing. And so he was doing it with
Oh,
David
right.
Dobrik.
I think I. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and one of his questions to David was, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" And that thought, like to a YouTuber, and his response was, "If I'm still doing YouTube for 10 years, that means something either went really right or really, really wrong." And I was thinking about it, and it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
there's in 10 years, like the lifespan, 10 years for a YouTuber, that's that's insane to think about because I know people that I've watched on YouTube that I watched for maybe like 3 years consecutively, and then I dropped off, and then I found someone else, and I haven't watched them since. Um, and so it's like, as much as I want or like would love to, and if have like a career in YouTube or Twitch, and I would put everything into it. I would definitely like I would dedicate myself to that. Um, I just know that there is the lifespan for that is short, and know it's going to be short, and that made me think of like how I was watching a YouTube video of one of these guys that I just watched, and he was streaming. And it's a video from his stream, and he was talking about how he had like or how his friend had like 4,000 streamers, like people watching at once.
Mm.
And for me right
My
now,
voice
like
cracks.
that's amazing because I have like an average of two streamers or two viewers
One
per
of them is
stream.
me.
Right, exactly. Um, but that's I that's like just not a lot of people in a broad spectrum, like a broad view of everything. Because I mean, if you look at YouTube, you got the people that make it
Millions
have
of views.
right, exactly. And Twitch, I mean, 4,000, that's a lot. That is a lot of people watching you
Yeah.
at once. But it's just I feel like streaming is so finicky and precise, and it's in a way it's I feel like it's a lot or just as much work as a YouTube career. Um because it's so fragile. Um because have a if you have a schedule and you fall off and it throws people off and then people just don't come back, and it you can lose it so quickly, and I suppose it's the same thing with YouTube, but I just feel like streaming is a lot more fragile.
Yeah, there's and obviously this would probably also apply to any other job, but there was a streamer.
Hmm.
He was streaming. I mean, this is very
Hmm.
recent. I don't remember his name or anything,
Hmm.
but he was drinking and he
Hmm.
fired a gun in his
Oh.
apartment on accident.
Mm-hmm.
He's done. He's ruined. His
Right.
career is gone.
Right.
He was dropped. He was banned. Everything.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Right.
Like that.
One slip up.
The career he has established is gone.
Right. And that's just like I've thought about YouTube for years. I mean, I don't know, what kid hasn't thought how cool it would be to be a YouTuber, especially in our generation, because our generation, that's whenever YouTube really started coming
That's when
about, and
YouTube
that
was created. We were
right, exactly. Um, and so the dream as a kid was to be a YouTuber, at least for a
for a
good
lot
amount
of
of
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it still is for some of us. And of course, I didn't really start thinking about it until the podcast, um, where I started thinking about trying to do something with that. But
I think a
I
good
don't.
reason it appeals to so many people is that generally speaking, fun careers are not um what's the word? What is the word? They're not supported, at least. I can't think of the word I
Right,
want to say,
right,
but they're not supported by society. Society does
right,
not encourage, there you go, fun
hmm,
careers. You can
right,
have fun in your career, but generally fun careers like streaming or YouTube or being a film creator or a musician,
hmm,
you're going to be deterred from that when you're young. People
right,
are going to tell you not to do that because
hmm,
you cannot survive off of that.
right,
The majority of
right,
people cannot survive off that. And then YouTube comes and you have a lot of people getting famous
hmm,
doing things, doing a fun thing, playing
right,
games, commentary, all these
hmm,
things. And it instills that idea that it is easy to become
right,
famous because what you see on the front page, what you see in trending, are the same famous people.
right,
What you don't see on YouTube is the guy who's been posting a video a week and has 10 subscribers and 2
right,
views on every video.
right,
And there's like thousands of them. There's millions
hmm,
of videos posted to YouTube daily, probably
right,
hourly. So YouTube just birthed into this generation that
hmm,
there is a fun career that is easy to get into, but it's not easy to get into. It just
right,
appears easy.
right. And I think it's not it's definitely not the first, but it's a career as a YouTuber or streamer, whatever. Like, um, when you think of a good paying job and a steady career and just, a life that is secure, you don't think of YouTube, you don't think of streaming, you
A lot
think,
of people don't
a,
even acknowledge that as a career, even though people make
right,
livings off of it.
right. You think of accountants or engineers or scientists, things like that, that we've all been doing for years and generations, because these are the careers that people strive for. And now there's a whole different path that people can take.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's so new, it's so recent, and these are the careers that so many of us have been striving for and have been wanting to do, but it's been so risky. Now that so many people have been jumping at the idea, it's just as risky as it was then to start
Mm-hmm.
a career like this, because the bars have already been set. There's elites of YouTube and streaming and anything like that. Um, there are the names that everyone knows, no matter what career you're in, whether or not you're interested in this career. Um, and so it's as much as the door has been open, everyone is trying to get into it, and so it's just as if nothing has really changed. Almost, it's just as hard to make a name for yourself like this as it was 15 years ago,
Yeah,
for
like it's
example.
crazy. Like you can have a director that makes incredible movie after incredible movie, like
Hmm.
top number one, number one, number one.
Hmm.
You're not gonna see them on TV or in this and that. You're
Right.
gonna hear about their movie, but not them. And then you have
Right.
Ninja hosting
Hmm.
the New Year's Eve New York event, one of the
Right.
most watched events on TV.
Mm-hmm.
All he did was stream Fortnite.
Right.
You know, like
That's true.
it's crazy because especially in these careers, they some people just become so widespread beyond what they were.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. It's so weird.
It is. I mean, it's just how it's like the whole I guess just genre, I suppose, of a career, if you will. Um, it's how, how do I say? Anyone can just take off, and it can happen to anyone. Really, it's such a game of chance. Um, and then whenever someone blows up or whatever, it's either it it's still not set. It can still be a hit or a miss. They can
Mm-hmm.
fall off really easily, or they can they can end up like Ninja, for example. I mean, he's world known. I mean, he blew up in a matter of like months.
Yep.
Not, I mean, when the game came out, like he just in months, and he's you know extremely wealthy, and like you said, hosting. Um, wait, is it
Mainstream
the
media
new?
events. He did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it just goes to show like it can happen to anyone, but at the same time, it can't.
Yeah,
Not
like you were
anymore.
saying, think Minecraft YouTubers. Boom,
Right,
big, no out of nowhere.
right.
Biggest people on YouTube. They're
Mhm.
gone. They're not a
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. And
And maybe
that
same
kind
will
of
happen with Ninja, but
right,
there's no telling.
right,
You don't know how long it's gonna last.
exactly.
And this
Like
is gonna sound kind of lame, but sort of like what you were saying. In Ratatouille, Chef Cousteau says anyone can cook,
mm-hmm,
but at the end, Ego, the food critic,
mm-hmm,
says that it doesn't mean that everyone can be a great chef,
right,
but that um, a great chef can come from anywhere. It could be anyone,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and that's sort of like the YouTube. It's not everyone can do it, but like
right,
these famous YouTubers could have been anyone.
right,
And there's like an
exactly,
aspect of it though. In this case, that's luck. Like in
right,
internet entertainment, there's the part of your character actually being worth watching and worth listening to
mm-hmm,
and being entertaining,
right,
and then the other half is, well, it, are people going to click?
right.
Like
Exposure
it,
and
you
yeah,
can recommend me a video on YouTube. It doesn't mean I'm going to click it.
exactly. And that's just the roll of the dice that the whole just set of careers
How the
is. It's
how did we get on this topic?
I don't know. We were
I
talking
just
about the
thought about it for a
we were
second.
just talking about the microphone I wanted to get.
Yeah.
Um,
That's interesting that we
yeah.
veered off so greatly. But this is
Excuse
an
me, I forgot
interesting
my water.
topic. I'm surprised it's something we haven't discussed before.
I know. I mean, it's something that we're doing
Yeah, it's like
in a way. And I don't know. For some reason, I feel I view the podcast and like my streaming and stuff differently because this is pure passion. Like not
mhm.
once have I ever thought of how do I word this? Not once have I expected any sort of career to kind of take
Yeah.
off out of this.
Yeah.
And if it does, I mean, that's
Exactly. I
great because
someone
this is.
asked me like what do you do on the podcast?
Mhm,
And I said when we came up with the idea of the podcast, my thoughts were like um it's not like I'm thinking, look at all these huge podcasts. I
mhm,
want to make a huge podcast.
mhm,
It's sort of like I want to archive these moments and these conversations.
right,
And if people think it's interesting, if people want to listen to it, that's great. But I find it
mhm,
interesting. That's why I'm doing it.
right,
Because we talk about things that I didn't expect to talk about. Like we were talking about a microphone and now we're talking about the uh volatility of internet careers.
Right. Right.
It's interesting. We talk about interesting things, and if other people find it interesting, and if it came to a point, honestly, if this thing blew up, I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I would be able
Yeah.
to stick with it at that point,
Right.
because then it's like it's not sort of how people say if you find a job you love, you won't work a day in your life.
Mm.
But if you're doing something you love and then it becomes a job, then I think that ruins it in some way, at least. If this
Mm-hmm.
became something that I felt I had to do, if this
Mm-hmm.
became a thing that people are waiting, people are relying,
Right.
people are expecting this episode at this time. We've missed episodes, and I'm like that, like we should have done it, like blah 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 blah.
Right.
But it's not like I'm worrying so much about it.
Like we missed a test.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just get back on track then. But if
Right.
we had people saying, where was the episode? Where was the episode? I was like waiting. I checked online. Where is it? It's not on Spotify. It's not on YouTube. I don't think I'd want to do it. I don't think it would be as fun because it's 3 a.m. We're recording this at 3 a.m.
Right.
I don't think we'd be able to consistently record episodes at 3 a.m. if it was being
Right.
expected of us.
Right. Like there's, I can and I can agree with you in some points. For me, I think it's a little different. Like if people were like not expecting, but like the whole, oh, where's the new episode and things like that, and if I know that people are entertained and are looking forward to my or our content, that would just drive me more. And I think that's just coming from, again, like me being interested in
Mm-hmm.
the whole internet creator career kind of thing.
Yeah, in a way,
Um,
I understand where you're coming from.
right,
I also agree where I'd be like, this is great. I can entertain people,
right,
but it's becomes a point where, um, I guess put forth my own interest before their interest
mm-hmm, right,
in me. I guess, like
right,
if they're interested in what we're discussing and talking about,
mm-hmm,
I don't. I guess it's a little selfish and not realistic, but I expect them to not demand the
mm-hmm,
content, even though it's expected of them to demand the content if we've been
right,
giving it.
mm-hmm,
Um, but yeah, like I said, I enjoy the podcast because we're just talking about interesting
right,
things, and then if someone's interested in it, they're interested in it. But I feel like even for them, which also I this doesn't make much sense, but I expect them to also just be like, oh, I'm just interested in this, not like I
mm-hmm,
enjoy this. I guess I just
right,
can't see myself as being someone that people are constantly expecting entertainment from,
mm-hmm.
rather than just passively getting entertainment from.
I feel I've tried. I mean, I've always tried to be one of the like kind of humorous people in all my friends
Mm-hmm.
friend groups.
Keep
But
trying.
yeah, right. I mean, it was um kind of difficult for me at first. I actually wanted to talk about this earlier, um, because like what you were saying in stepping out of your comfort zone in terms of like like the one on one being with that person for so long and and getting out and exploring like clubs and stuff like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I would never do as a kid.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. Yeah.
and I like I broke myself and I forced myself out of that shell, starting like eighth grade. I think is when I um, really like made myself kind of come out of that, and it was great. Um, but still, there's there's always going to be that lingering kind of just not necessarily fear, but um, just who I was, I guess, will always kind of linger with me, kind of like the slightly introverted, um, just kind of kid. Um, and that's not really me anymore. And I pride myself in that because I really enjoy um, the social, I guess, expansion that my character has kind of gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
Your character
I've
arc.
met, yeah, you're right. Um, I, it's I've met so many great people, and still I know I haven't put myself really out there, and have like now, for example, I look forward to like going to the store by myself, and for like the off chance that just for some reason I have a conversation with someone and things like that. It's like I know back then I would not have wanted that. Like I would rather go with people like
Yeah.
my parents and stuff like that. But now it's I look forward to it. And wow, where was I going with this? Why did I start talking about this?
I'm not entirely sure, but I guess I can just expand on this so that you don't have to worry about where you were going with it. Um, in my freshman college readiness class thing,
Mm-hmm.
one thing we talked about was thoughts, ideas, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, something like that.
Yeah.
And like, what is a thought, a strong thought, feeling,
Mm-hmm.
belief, concept that you hold, and is it positive or negative? And I've
Mm-hmm.
always, I guess, and this is sort of a psychological, like, it's an actual mental disorder or disability, whatever you want to call it. Like, I've got
Mm-hmm.
some emotional issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got really bad anxiety in some situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got ADHD, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
The list goes on. No. But it makes some situations hard to deal with. And
Sure.
in a lot of scenarios, those are very social situations. And
Mm-hmm.
I am a social person, but I think that's based on the fact that one of the things we talked about in the class was that you need to take this concept that's negative in your mind and sort of work against it. And I feel like I've sort of been doing that with these feelings of anxiety and worry about what other people are thinking throughout my entire life. Because one thing, when I was younger, um, I was social, and this still pertains today, but only when I wanted to be. Like, my
Mm-hmm.
mom has said that in elementary school, if kids would want to play with me and I just didn't feel like it, I was a very cold child. I would just like be rude and tell them to go away and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
because they were bothering me. I didn't care if their feelings were hurt. They were bothering me, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want them around. Um, and I don't know how I felt back then, but I know now I do the same thing. People bother me and I just want them to go away. But I kind of just deal with it a little more because telling people to just go away, you're bothering me, when they're not really doing anything other than being there, is kind of rude.
Right.
Damn, where was I going with this? Um, man,
Nice.
I know I wanted to mention that this is a little embarrassing, but if there's a chance, like at a restaurant, I'll just tell my mom what I want to order so that I
Mm-hmm.
do not have to talk to the person, to the waitress or waiter, hostess, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I don't want to. I just do not
Right.
want to talk to this person and risk
Sure.
messing up my order. That gives me so much anxiety for some reason.
Right.
So I'll just be like, I'll say, Mom, what do I want? Because they take me to restaurants I've never been to.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Whataburger, I get the same burger. I go to McDonald's, get the same burger. Chick-fil-A,
Right.
same meal, everything. No matter where I'm eating, I get the same food.
Sure.
But when we go to a restaurant, the list is actually long. There's an actual menu with
Mm-hmm.
actual choices, and I don't know.
Right.
And I have to say, like, what would I like? Because my
Right.
mom, sometimes I feel annoyed that my mom
Mm-hmm.
micromanages me, and she's always telling me, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then I realized, even though I've become more independent, she's had to do that for the last 18 or so years,
Mm-hmm.
or else I was literally unable to function in school
Right.
and in organizations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, I still sort of rely on that sometimes. I realize um, what I feel is her getting on me for dumb stuff is
Mm-hmm.
me and my whatever mental disorders forcing these negative habits onto me, and that she is actively working against them when I should be doing it myself.
Right.
Where am I going with this?
You know,
I know how you feel. I think like where you start
yeah.
talking and you expand on the original concept, so then
And
you
then
lose
I
the
forget the
original
direction.
concept.
Yeah.
God,
You know,
we're the
I
worst
guess I can take
hosts
it.
ever.
Yeah. Um, one thing I read that has really interested that interests me, because it's kind of psychological, was um people that have really high anxiety, and it's really easy to I guess just be how do you say, like, just anxious. They
Hmm.
get anxious really easily. Um, a pattern is that they rewatch TV shows. Like they'll like
Yes,
to
it is
rewatch TV shows a
very
lot.
comforting.
Yeah, because there's um
Less element of surprise.
right, exactly. You know what's gonna happen. So like if this side character is in trouble, it's a side character, so their life isn't guaranteed, right?
Hmm.
For example, in an action show or whatever. Um, so that, and if you really favor this character, first time watching through, it's going to be really anxious because you want them to be alive, but you know that their life is not in your hands and you can't do anything about it. But then rewatching it and over, um, it's comforting because you know what's going to happen and you don't have to worry about being stressed out over that.
Yeah, like
And I
one thing I've
remember,
always enjoyed, like I
mhm,
mentioned earlier that I am watching some animes.
right,
I saw that they were on Netflix, so I bought
mm,
all of the books so that I could read it and know what was going
mm,
to happen before I
mm,
watched the show.
mm,
Because I just didn't want to watch the show for some reason. I'd rather read it and then I can go through the story again and I won't
mm,
have to first I won't have to focus as much,
right,
and second I know what's going to happen. I know what I'm looking forward to. I know what parts I'm going to want to pay attention to. I know what parts I'm
mm,
going to want that I can do something else, like do homework while it's on.
right,
Like I know
right,
every part of the story
mm,
and when I can focus on that or focus on something else and not have to worry about the story.
mm. Actually, the whole homework thing. Um, I just got back into anime because I heard that and I guess anime um that I read, it was on Webtoons when I first came across it, and I read through it. And it was like a whole bunch of episodes, and um I read through the whole thing, and I guess it's still being made, but I dropped off because uh there was like a continuation of sorts. And it was supposed to be like stuff afterward, and it's a
Mhm.
whole different new character, and I didn't like how it went. Um, and I heard that they turned it into an anime TV series, um, and that was really cool. So I really got back into it, but the problem with watching new TV shows, especially TV shows that are in a different language, is that I can't multitask because
Mhm.
um, I thought I would in this case because I know the story. Um, I know the story full. I know what's gonna happen and everything like that. But I couldn't. I tried like I think I just like tried playing on my PlayStation while I had it running in the background.
Mhm.
One, it's in a different language. Two, um, actually, really, it's in a different language.
Yeah,
So I
this falls into
yeah.
the long debated concept of sub versus dub. And one
Mm-hmm,
thing I found is I know what you mean. Whenever I guess it's just because it's in another language, your brain is trying to focus and understand something it does not understand.
right.
Um, and I noticed like one episode of Naruto that I wanted to watch, but also had a lot of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm,
I was like, well, let me try to listen and glance up
mm-hmm,
every now and then. I couldn't do it. I just had to sit and watch.
right.
And first off, it was horrible, but I switched over to the dub. The
Mm-hmm,
voices are just so weird
yeah.
compared to the sub, but
Right.
I was able to literally do everything and I understood the entire story.
Mm-hmm,
Because obviously I mean, you understand what they're saying and they give
right.
contextual clues.
Right.
But
So what's going on?
yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense because if it's in a language you don't understand, that means the medium's completely visual. There's no
Right.
audio aspect to it,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it hard to multitask because chances
Mm-hmm.
are if you're doing something else, it's also a visual task.
Right.
And two visual that's why texting and driving or anything else
Right.
like that, two visual tasks just are incredibly hard for your brain to manage.
No, yeah, that's true. Because, I mean, yeah, it's like both texting and driving and then doing a separate task while trying to focus on something that's familiar. It's, your brain can't handle it because I knew the story. I know the story. I know what's happening. I know where I am. I just got lost whenever I was on my PlayStation. I didn't know what was going on, even though I know what's supposed to be going on. I blanked and I
And yeah,
couldn't,
and
and
even though
so
you know, it's like it heightens the confusion and you have to keep
right,
checking. Even though you know what's
right,
going on, it's like you have to reassure yourself. It's weird.
right.
What time do you have for our recording? I have 56.
56.
Okay. I guess we should find a wrap up point.
Probably.
Well, I guess me asking and saying that is a good wrap up point. I think I mentioned earlier that we should talk about this month's plans.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're recording in September, but if you're listening to this, it should hopefully be October. Oh, and I fixed our Spotify. For some reason, the episodes were not popping up. So all of season 2's episodes, except for the last, are currently up. So episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 are up on Spotify if you want to listen there. And of course, they are up on YouTube. The 5th episode should be up before this episode's out. So if you're listening to this, check that out if you didn't watch it on YouTube. Now let's see. Like I was saying, it's October. As mentioned in the very beginning, we've got a little October-themed intro for the spook month. We've got a few things planned. I think we're planning on making the podcast a little spooky. We've got a special guest coming on for either it depends on. Wait a minute, that's so weird.
Yeah.
So the guest was either on before this or is going to be on after this. Do you want to mention like what the general gist of the guest is, Daniel?
Yeah. Do you want me to tiptoe around it a little bit?
Sure. Add a
Or do you
little
want me to go about that?
suspense, some
Yeah.
spook suspense.
So,
I think. Hold on. I'm sorry. I think spook is a racial slur.
it
is
is,
that
but not in the context that you were
Okay,
using
I
it.
know. I just feel like saying it is like because I read a
Yeah,
story
but
about a
that's
guy who
different.
was talking to raccoons and he called them
Yeah.
coons.
Yeah.
And even then, even in the context, it's kind of weird. Whatever.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I really like raccoons, and I've been tempted to call them that to people, but every time I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways,
Yeah,
spooky.
either
It's
way.
a spooky month.
So
That's what I mean.
yeah. So, as everyone, not as everyone knows, but a few episodes ago, we had a spooky themed podcast. Now, this isn't really related, but it kind of ties in. And so that's where we talked about some nightmares, I believe, that we've had. Some spooky encounters that we've had, like real life things that have happened to us, and just stories that we've heard. And recently, Jacob stumbled across a blogger that it kind of delves into true crime, and so we are planning on well, yeah, I guess it really depends on context of when this episode comes out.
So
and that
either
one.
if this episode, okay. So before we recorded this episode, we sent out a email, or we had contacted them previously, but we sent out an email to discuss scheduling, and depending on how that scheduling goes, you've either already heard that episode or that will be the next episode. So from here on, we're gonna just speak as if that's the next episode. Because we're recording this episode as sort of insurance in case we can't schedule a time soon enough for a release on Friday.
because it is Wednesday technically, and we sent
And we
that
sent the
email
email at
out at
2
like midnight.
a.m.
Yeah, so there's a high chance that it will be the next episode after this one. But yeah, so we are in the works. I currently have a document, a Word document that me and Jacob are co-working on in preparation of this highly anticipated, at least from both of us, episode. We're working really hard. At least we're going to on
And
the preparation.
especially the if that episode is coming out after this, or even before this, if it comes out before this, I'll have said this already, but check out the blog.
Definitely.
It is Murders and Coffee. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. She posts missing person reports and true crime events and whatnot, and has days where she does different types of posts, such as like a missing person Monday and whatnot.
Right. It's missing persons on Monday, and then on Fridays she does cold case files and stuff like that. Make sure, because I was
It's
a
an
little confused
interesting
at first.
read. They
Yeah,
were
it
interesting.
definitely is. I've looked at I think I've only partially looked at one so far, but over
Yeah,
the
one reason I
course
was
of the
interested was, of course, the October true crime is sort of a general spooky idea,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure. With Netflix, for some reason, a lot of people in the past year or so have been watching Criminal Minds. I didn't know
That's
people
true.
watched that. I used to watch that all the time with my grandpa. So it seems like true crime is kind of having a resurgence
Yeah,
in
it's on the up and coming.
lately. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I thought that'd be a really interesting thing to discuss and to have someone who's, pretty well versed in that realm.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, my mom. I haven't told my mom about this yet, but she'll be really excited. Me
Mm.
and her both really like just crime stuff in
Mm-hmm.
general. Like she would always watch ID, Investigation Discovery, and
This
stuff
is a
like that.
less serious crime show. Have you ever seen Psych?
No,
Very
I don't think so.
interesting. It's about this guy. He's like hyper perceptive. I'm
Hmm.
not sure what the term is, but he like notices things very minute and very quickly compared to
Hmm.
other people, at least. And his dad was a cop or a detective back in the day, in like the 80s, and he's sort of grown up now. It's a comedy. It's a comedy.
Hmm.
And I don't remember why, but he pretends to be psychic, and so he uses all these things with his best friend. They run like a private investigation service, and they work for
Hmm.
the police department. And he pretends to be psychic, and the way he does it is by noticing all these things before everyone else and piecing the whole
Right.
case together pretty much before everyone, and then having quote unquote visions about these
Hmm.
things. But it's like he
Interesting.
always does it in overly dramatic ways, like
Hmm.
flopping around on the ground. It's funny. I don't know. I'm really bad at
Yeah.
describing things.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a little late. Gotta wake up in 45 minutes. Or not 45.
Um.
In an hour about.
All right. Well, that's yeah. So
Right. Somehow I
what?
went from wrapping it up to talking about a TV show.
Well, yeah. I guess to wrap it up, depending on yeah. Okay. Um, I'm pretty sure this episode is coming out before that one. So
Yeah.
to kind of delve in or to get a quick look at kind of what to expect, but also just to introduce you to a great working person that has. I mean, this is a lot of
And she's
like
all like
research
self
and
started
stuff.
and everything. It's just her own little
Yeah,
blog, her own website, and everything.
yeah. Go because I had problems looking it up at first because I was looking up the wrong thing. And I'm sure Jacob in post edit will put it on the screen, but it's
Mm-hmm.
murdersandcoffee.com/my dash blog. And that's where you can find her. Well, I'm sorry, I'm on her specific her blog page. I guess you don't have to do
You don't
the
have to do the
forward slash.
my
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, you
yeah, I was
just
on
do the
her.
.com.
Yeah,
That's
well,
just
yeah,
a certain page on the website.
yeah, that was her blog page. But yeah, and there you can find her on Instagram and Pinterest, Facebook. You can find all these
Mm-hmm.
things, and yeah, and so we really look forward to working with her,
We think it's going to
and
be a very good episode too. I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
definitely, yeah, we're
Um,
making sure it's as
we
good as
are
can be.
putting lots of planning into this. Not that we don't put planning into normal episodes. Well,
This we don't.
sometimes we do.
Yeah,
Sometimes we put
sometimes.
a good bit of planning. Other times, like this one, it's more spontaneous. But I think that lends itself to a more raw discussion. I think
Yeah,
we
definitely.
talk about some interesting things.
It won't feel so stiff, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It'll still feel like a natural conversation.
Yeah,
Just
we just wrote some guidelines for ourselves to keep it a little
right.
more professional because we're dealing. This isn't a person that we. This isn't just a friend of ours. This time, this is a
No, we gotta be
person who
professional.
has a website and agreed to come onto our podcast.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it'll be really interesting for you guys.
Definitely.
It'll be interesting for us at the very least.
Oh, 100%.
And quite the experience. This is going to be an actual interview, sort of.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyways, check out that website. And I guess we'll sign it off here. 1 hour, 6 minutes. Not bad. I think we've been consistent with the 1 hour episodes now rather than 45 minutes. I think we can stick around that now. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Downtown Coolsville, guys. I'm your co-host, Jacob Marsqueezy. And I'm your other co-host, Daniel.
I blanked. I was
Okay, let's run that one again. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I'm your co-host, Jacob Marsqueezy.
and I've been your co-host, Danny Pooh.
Danny Pooh. Daniela. Got you on the flip, yo. What? You don't like that outro?
It was just
It was a little awkward, right? Okay. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Bye. No, I like mine. Catch you on the flip, yo. Daniel, say a natural. Say like a goodbye thing. A phrase.
A phrase? I was just gonna say
like a
good
goodbye
night.
phrase.
I was just gonna
Good
say
night,
like,
Wisconsin.
Good night or no,
That's from 70s Show, I think.
I never watched it.
I love you, Wisconsin. We probably shouldn't hash out the outro during the outro.
Yeah,
Like, just say a goodbye phrase. Like, something good.
Take care.
All right, now on 3, you're going to say that, and I'm going to say mine, and then the podcast will be over. Okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Catch
Take
you on the
care.
flip, yo. That was stupid.